If you're watching this video right now, there's probably something important that you should be doing that you are not doing. And that's what this video is going to be about. How can you do things that you really don't want to do, that you really don't feel like doing? I'm going to be giving examples of nutrition and health and wellness, things that you might not want to do, but this can be applied to so many other aspects of your life, and I really think that these tips can help you out. So the first tip is to break that thing that you don't want to do down into smaller bite-sized goals. For instance, say you want to reorganize your pantry, you want to get rid of all the junk food, you want to get rid of like spoiled foods, you want to organize everything better and get a bunch of healthy foods in there so that you can really kickstart your healthy eating journey and your good eating habits. Well, if you tell yourself that you're going to do all of this on one day, it seems like horrible and just like this huge thing that you'll never achieve. So you can just break it down a little bit. So on the first day, you can clear out all of the junk items from your pantry. You don't even have to think about what to do with them. Just take them out of the pantry and put them somewhere. On the second day, you can decide what to do with these things. Do you want to throw everything out? Do you want to give some away? On the third day, you can go shopping or right now order online some nice items to decorate your pantry, to store things in your pantry, to organize your pantry, like clear boxes and everything like that, so you can have a nice organized pantry. On the fourth day, you can, are we on the fourth day? I don't know. On the next day, you can research about healthy food items to keep in your pantry, healthy snacks, and also research how to read and understand nutrition labels so that you know that the next foods that you're going to be buying are healthy. And then on the fifth or whatever day we're on, you can go buy these foods, buy these healthy foods with the knowledge that you have, knowing that you will be storing your pantry with good items. So this was just an example, but you can apply this to a lot of things. Just any progress is good. You don't have to finish everything in one day, and just progressing toward that task is good enough. Another technique I really love and use all the time for anything is the 5-minute technique. I'm pretty sure there's like a better name to it. There's an actual real name to it, but I don't know it. So the 5-minute technique is basically, let's say you have this huge thing to do that takes up a lot of hours, so you're always pushing it back because it just takes up too much time. Well, instead of focusing on these 1 or 2 or 3 hours that it will take you, just start doing it for 5 minutes. Often the hardest part is really starting and getting motivated to start, because you're telling yourself, okay, when I start, I'm gonna be in this for 3 hours, it's gonna be horrible, I'm gonna be so bored, it's gonna be really not fun, it's gonna be such an unpleasant experience, and you're thinking about all of these things and you're still not starting what you should be starting. So just tell yourself, okay, I'm just gonna do it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is actually nothing. I'm not breaking this concentration until I have done that for 5 minutes, and then see what happens. For instance, say that you want to follow an at-home workout video, and that video is 30 minutes long, and you're really not used to working out, so you really just never want to do it. So just tell yourself, I'm going to do that workout video for 5 minutes. I'm gonna give my all in 5 minutes. I'm gonna do this super intensely. So you get on your gym clothes, roll out a yoga mat, put some music, put a mirror. I don't know, am I the only one that's really weird and needs to exercise in front of a mirror? Yes, do this for 5 minutes. And when these 5 minutes are up, there's like 2 things that can happen. Usually what happens to me and what happens to most people is that you're just going to keep going. Since the hardest thing is starting, once you're in there, you're just going to be like, okay, I'm in there, might as well keep going. And you're going to keep going. You might not end up doing all 3 hours. You might not end up finishing it, but that's fine. Like I said in the previous points, you just need to start. That's the hardest thing, but any progress will be progress, and chances are you might even finish it. And if after these 5 minutes, well, you really want to stop and you actually stop, then that's fine as well. You'll know that you made progress, and you'll know that next time you do this, you'll be closer to your end goal than if you hadn't done anything at all. Of course, depending on the task, 5 minutes may not be enough. You can motivate yourself to do it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, any amount of time that you feel isn't too hard to stick to and then see where it leads. Another tip I have for something you really don't want to do and you're pushing back is to just do it first. Now this also has a term, I think it's called eat the frog first or something like that. And the thing behind it is, if there's this one horrible task that you have to do, if you do that task first thing in the morning, then the rest of your day will seem really easy. So imagine you have to meal prep. You want to meal prep lots of healthy meals and you really don't want to because it's boring and it takes some time. But in the back of your mind, you know that if you don't do it now, then it's gonna be Sunday night really soon and you're just gonna come up with a ton of excuses on why you're just not gonna meal prep this week. So wake up and do the meal prep first. Go to your kitchen, cut up all your vegetables, cook all your foods, do all that stuff first thing in the morning. First of all, you'll have a really good sense of accomplishment and you'll feel really proud of yourself knowing that you did it. And then also it will be done, so that's good for your week and you'll have lots of healthy meals. And finally, it will boost your productivity for the other tasks you have to do, knowing that you did this hard task and that you survived and that you feel great and you're just gonna max out your productivity during the day. Another tip I have, and I've tried to do this with my sister, is to have someone actually be in charge of you for that day or for however long you want. For instance, say that you want to stop snacking in between meals and you just can't help yourself. Well, tell your sister, stop me. If I ever try to snack, just stop me, like literally take the food out of my hand. My sister would do that at some point. Just stop me from snacking. Whatever you do, don't let me snack. And while I think that this isn't the best technique because it's not training you to self-control and it's not like training your mindset, it can be good if all else fails and you really need that push and you really need that thing done. Just have someone help you with it. Another thing you can do is give that person something valuable of yours. For instance, your phone. Give them something that you love and care about and tell them, don't give it back until I'm done exercising or until I've cooked this healthy meal. And you can do this long term too. For instance, you can give like money to a friend and tell them not to give you back your money until you have like lost 5 pounds or something like that. You can really make up anything in your mind to motivate you to do that thing that you really don't want to do, and then have a friend or family member hold you accountable for it. Another thing you can do is really force yourself to think of the bigger picture. Now this is easier said than done, and this is why I highly suggest you take a journal and write. For instance, say that you want to start eating healthier and making healthier food choices. But every time lunch or dinner time comes around, then you don't actually make these choices. You always have a bunch of excuses for yourself as to why, this is not the time to be making these healthy food choices and that you'll start again tomorrow and blah blah blah. So write down how you would feel if you were healthy at your goal weight, if you loved eating healthy foods. Write down how that would make you feel and how it would change your life. Also, I'm holding this with my arm, so like I notice it's like slightly dropping because I'm getting like my arm is hurting. I also suggest writing down how you feel whenever you make good food choices. Write down if you're proud of yourself, if you think that you're moving in the right direction, how this makes you feel, what positive emotions it brings to you, and everything like that. And also write down how you feel whenever you make bad or poor food choices. If you're ashamed of your food choices, if you feel physically like unwell, if you regret them, write that down, and then whenever, like before you make the choices, just read these things. So for some reason the video got cut off and I lost the rest of the footage. But I was saying that you need to shift from wanting instant gratification, so having that pizza and Coke and ice cream for instance, to more long-term gratification, so being happy, healthy, and at your ideal weight. And another tip I have is if you have a bit of a competitive spirit, you can turn this thing that you really don't want to do into a game. For instance, say that you have a can of soda at every meal. Well, you can try and compete with someone in your family and see who can last the longest without having that can of soda. If you can last 1 meal, 2 meals, a week, whatever. And if you don't have anyone who wants to do it with you, you can just compete with yourself and try to last longer than the last time you played, and that can give you kind of a starting point to doing something that you just don't want to do. So as usual, I really encourage you to take action. Don't just watch this video, actually choose one of these tips or more and do them and stick to them. That's the end of the video. I hope that some of these tips helped you. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye!